It's my pawb Sadaki. Hello everyone, how are we all? This is going to be a video using the new Thanking You stamp. I can't call it a stamp set because it is only one single stamp. And I will just show it to you because I've actually put it onto my stamparatus. I nearly called it a Stamposaurus. That's not the right thing at all. So I've got it set up because I've already used it. As you can see, it's already gone pink. That is one of the features of photopolymer stamps, is that regardless of what colour you use, they take on a pink colour after a while. But it's fine, it doesn't transfer to anything, and it literally just stains the stamp. But it is useful to know what stamps you've used, because you can tell which stamps you've used and which you haven't. So I've been using that with my Stamparatus, get the name right. Let me just, I messed it all up then when I took this off. So let me put this back on. So I had it set up. You probably can't see. I just marked in the little pencil lines where I put my pre-cut bits of DSP to, and then stamped, and so if it didn't do a good stamp the first time, I did it again, which is the useful thing with that. Other stamping platforms are available because Stampin' Up in their wisdom have decided to retire that, and I don't know why. I think they're cutting off their own noses to spite their face, really, because it's a really useful thing. So that's the stamp. It comes in a box, and I previously stuck it onto there to keep it. These are the inks that I use. I'll set that one aside just for now. I made 5. Now this might be a little bit of a bitty video because I'm doing this bit now, but I want to do something else as well with the same stamp, but I can't until I go out and buy something. So I just picked 5 different colours of card, cut them in half widthways so that they would end up being a landscape card. Then I just went through some of my 6-inch DSPs, so Meandering Meadows, the new one which has got autumn in the title. Probably best if I get them momentarily. Get them. There they are. Right, so I picked out a couple from Thoughtful Journey, Meandering Meadows, Splendid Autumn, I think, and possibly one other that I can't see. Oh yeah, there it is. And oh, or did I? And I might have picked one from the Fancy Flora, but I might not. I can't remember now. And yeah, I think that was it. Right, sorry, sit back down now. So I cut out a piece of the DSP, 140 by 10 roughly, and then I stamped each one. I didn't necessarily go with the colour of the card, so this one I did on Pretty Peacock card, and I used Pretty Peacock ink, so that's that one. This one I think I used Gorgeous Grape ink, but I think the card was Highland Heather. This one, to be absolutely honest, I'm not 100% sure what colour that card is, but I stamped the thank you in Pumpkin Pie. This one, I believe this is the Lemon Lime Twist, which is the ink colour I used. This one I think is Flirty Flamingo, but I stamped the thank you in Cajun Craze. And then this I stamped in Melon Mambo, and I think the card is Melon Mambo. but to be honest now, I can't remember. I should have made a note of it. But what I really wanted to do, I wanted to do some using my white ink. And I've bought this, oh gosh, a while ago. Let's just go with that. A while ago, I bought this. You can get the Whisper White pad and you get the ink with it because it comes completely naked. So you have to put the ink on it. And I have literally spent the last 20 minutes ransacking my craft room looking for the wretched ink because I've got a little pot down here which, as you can quite clearly see, says re-inkers. But what's this? These are not re-inkers. This is all sorts of bits and pieces. So they weren't in there and they weren't anywhere that I could immediately see. So I'm starting to go through all my little nooks and crannies and this drawer and that drawer, and then I finally found them in the pot that I keep my blending brushes in, because that makes sense, doesn't it? But I've also got in here, I've got two other re-inkers, one of which is Blushing Bride, which I think is retired now, and Real Red, which isn't retired, but I thought it'd be a good one to have because it's a good Christmas colour. So, finally found it. It was only because I'd leaned right over my desk looking in a corner and I just spied the top of one of the bottles. So, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to start it. Oh, hang on. Am I going to start it? Oh, yeah. What you have to do is you have to ink it up. So you have to squirty squirt until it's all covered. Then you do need something to spread it over with. Oh gosh. Ooh. Ooh, this does take some squeezing. My hands are going to be sore at the end of this. In fact, they're starting to be sore already. Oh. Because I thought I'd really like to stamp in white. And the other thing I thought about doing was some heat embossing. I have not done heat embossing for a very, very long time. And in fact, I don't have a VersaMark. Now, I could use my Cricut. Yeah, I'll use my Cricut one. No, I won't use my Cricut one. I'll use one of my cheaper ones that I've got over here, because I don't want to spoil my one that actually says Cricut. So I'll put that back in there. That's my Cricut machine over there. Right, so you have to spread the ink out right to the edges, and you also have to give it time to settle in. But this is also how you go about re-inking any of the regular ink pads, because you can buy the bottles of ink, re-inkers as they call them, and re-ink rather than having to buy a whole new ink pad. Although I've had most of mine for quite a long time, my ink pads, and it's only really the black one that I've had to re-ink. But I suppose if you use a lot of them a lot of the time, you probably have to re-ink them slightly more than I do. Right. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Should have thought about this before and got tissue out. Right, get that ink off there. And just clean up that edge bit there. Yeah. Go straight in the bin. So then I shall leave that there to soak in. I shall probably leave it overnight. So I may put a bowl or something over it, because the problem with living in an old house is that it emanates dust just by being. So if I leave it like that overnight, I'll come back in the morning and it'll be all covered in little speckles of dust. So I shall go and find a big bowl or something to put over it. I'm just looking around to see if I've got anything to hand, else I shall have to go in the kitchen. Oh, that's all right. For a minute I thought it was telling me that my battery was going, but no, my battery seems to be okay. The other thing I said, as I said, I wanted to do was some heat embossing, but I don't have a VersaMark ink pad, so I need to go out. Well, I can order one, but I need to put another order in, and it would take over a week, and I want one now. So I think I'm going to pop into the local craft shop and see if they've got one, just that I can get started with doing some heat embossing and a couple of different techniques. Again, still using the thanking you stamp. I'm going to use one of these cards pretty much straight away. I think that one, that's the one I think I decided on for somebody. And they'll get the card well before this goes out as a video, so that's okay. I don't need to worry about them in case they might be watching it, because then they'll go, oh, I had that before it came out on video, which would be nice, assuming there's somebody that actually watches my videos. So that's the first part of this video, and I will see you for the second part shortly. Right, here I am, back again. To you, it will be a nanosecond since I said I've got to go off and do this and then I'm going to come back. It's actually been 3 weeks. Yes, 3 weeks, and in which time I've been away for a week, and then it took me 2 weeks to get hold of a VersaMark ink pad because they didn't have any at the local craft shop, and I didn't have the time or the inclination to drive to Bangor or to Hwyl to find anything. So, but when I went in to ask about it, he said, no, we haven't got any at the moment, but they'll be in next Wednesday. So I said, that's fine, but the following Wednesday I couldn't go, or Thursday, whichever day it was. So I had to wait another week before I could actually go and get the VersaMark. So I did get a VersaMark in the end. Now the Stampin Up white pad, I left that for nearly 2 weeks, and it still looked the same as it did earlier when I'd sort of laid it all on, and it was sitting on the top of the sponge. So what I did was I wiped it all off and had another go, so it looks a bit more like it should do now, which is just like that. So the other thing that I did, where is it? I'll top it up a little bit for you now, and I'll show you what I did. So I squeezed it on. Oh gosh, that takes it out of your hands. Where did I put it? There. And then I used this old Do Crafts bone folder and literally just scraped it on like that, and I found that was much better. I didn't go all the way to the edges, and it's definitely sunk in this time, as opposed to last time when it was literally just sitting on the top of the sponge. So I've learnt my lesson there. Now where's my tissue? There it is. It's like that. So I will now keep that specifically for the white ink pad. Okay, so I'm going to put this. So yes, and I've seen somewhere else on another YouTube video, I think it was, where someone said that they re-ink it every time they use it. So they ink it up before they start, and then they'll use it. So that's probably what I shall do. Now, I showed you the cards that I made previously. So with the VersaMark and my embossing powder, I was going to show you how I did it, but I got carried away as usual, and I actually made the 5 cards without even thinking about videoing them. But my white embossing powder, as you can see, is called Seafoam White. So it's not white, it's not a brilliant white. And as you can see from these cards, it's not as white as I would have liked it. But have I been able to find one locally? No, I haven't. I couldn't even find one in Cardiff. We were away in Cardiff for a few days, and I had a look in some craft shops there, and they didn't have any brilliant white. There was a Hobbycraft somewhere outside Cardiff, but we never worked out where it was, so I didn't go there. Otherwise, I probably could have got some there. But what I did with these was I stamped the thank you on 5 different sheets, and then I cut them all up into strips, and then I've just sort of joined them together. So what I've done with this one is I put them all together, and I put them down on a piece of tape to keep them together, and then I used my wibbly wobbly cutter. Oh, I can't see that. My wibbly wobbly cutter to do the top and the bottom. And there's another one where I did, where I used my decal edge, but I did it all the way around, so around all 4 sides. I can't count. And then these other ones, I cut them up, and I used a very narrow piece. I used this sort of width. This width of double-sided tape, just to hold the pieces together, and then snipped different angles off. And that one I put together with the edges straight together. And then these two, I've just put them at various angles. It's just my hands going like that. So they don't quite meet up, which I think is also quite nice. And the same with that one. But I think it would have looked better with a brilliant white. And as soon as I can find a brilliant white, I shall have another go. Now, the one embossing powder that I was able to get while we were away was this lilac one. Now, I looked at it and I thought, oh, lovely, that'll be purple, super. But then I realised when I got home that it actually said lilac, and I thought, that's not going to be as purple as I think it's going to be. And I was right. In fact, I will show you an interesting thing. Oh, I've got bits of embossing powder now everywhere, because I've had a go already with this, with some of them, but I thought I'd show you the interesting effect that you can get when you use a colour on top of other colours. I'm sure if I did it on white, it would be fantastic. So I need to put that down there. I need to get my my stamparatus. There, and put my card down there. Put it straight. Right. Now, I managed to find the original magnets that came with this, because I broke them. Well, one of them I only broke a little bit, so it's this end has sort of lost a bit at the end. So I've put some washi tape around it. And then the other one is actually in 2 bits, and I can't now get the second bit off. Oh, here we go. Oh no, that's the wrong one. That one's all right. It's this one. This one you can see has got that edge on it, and this bit is the other end. But when you try to put them together, they keep repelling each other. Oh, here we go. So I haven't been, that's pushing itself. Even though that's the right way round to put them back together, I couldn't get them back together, so I've just stuck more washi tape on. I might throw that small bit away. Anyway, so here's my VersaMark ink, which I will ink up. But this is something I hadn't thought of. I thought to myself, it'll be fine, because heat embossing's not like putting ink on to coloured background, because I know that when you put coloured inks onto different coloured backgrounds, they can change slightly. Hadn't realised that it would be the same with embossing powder. So there we go. That is very sticky. Right, I will put that there. I will find my Simply Chamois just to give that a wipe. Squeaky clean. That needs to go in the washing machine really. There we go. So put that down there. And I'll put that out of the way over there with that. Then I shall get my little tray and my embossing powder, and then cover everything in the embossing powder. Yes, I know I've probably put too much on, but it all goes back in the pot at the end. Let's see how that is. A bit of a flick. Oh, I could do with a little brush. Oh, here we go. Just to get these few bits off there. Because I know some of you are saying, and I might have said this in the first part of the video, but as it's 3 weeks since I did that bit, I can't remember. Some of you will be saying, oh, you didn't use your little talc bag. And you're right, I didn't use my little talc bag because I don't have one at the moment. I used to have one, but goodness knows what's happened to it. Right, there we go. I haven't had to do that with the rest of them, funnily enough. Okay, I shall sort out putting that back in to the jar later, off camera, so that I don't do anything daft. Right, okay, so this next bit's going to be a bit noisy. I've got a peg just to hold that down. I'm going to turn on my heat gun, which, as you can hear, is very noisy. So I will just do this. There we go. That's that. So that one actually hasn't turned out too bad. You can still see that that's a lilac colour against the blue. But, and against the other ones that I did earlier, that's lovely. That sort of matches. And then the blue one, it looks more blue than lilac. But the two weirdest ones are this one, which it's sort of come out brown against the mustardy colour, and this one it's come out sort of green against the green colour. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, you have to remember about things like that when you're using coloured heat embossing on coloured card. So that's that. I'm going to leave those time to actually cool down. Well, most of them have cooled down. It's only that one that really needs cooling down. So I think I'm going to leave that there for now, because otherwise I won't get this video out in time. I've got a pile of ink pads over there, and I was going to have a go with these foiled metallic flakes. I found them when I was looking for something else. As is often the way in this room, I think to myself, now where is such and such? Oh, I think it's over here. Oh, no, but look, there's something else. So I have no idea how I got these. I have a feeling a friend might have given them to me. So I have no idea what make they are. It says Art Studio Foiled Flakes Metallics. And they're gold, silver, rose gold and white iridescent. So I might have a play with those as well, to see how they stick to the VersaMark inks. Because you can get coloured VersaMarks, which you can then use clear embossing powder on. I've got some clear embossing powder, but I haven't got any coloured VersaMarks. But I think I'm just going to stick with this one for the time being anyway. Just see how I feel about that. Now, some of the more eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that I'm no longer wearing a wedding ring. Now, don't worry, Kevin and I are still happily married, but my arthritis is getting so bad in my fingers now, and that hand in particular, the knuckle is swollen. Well, it's not swollen, it's got that hard cartilage stuff that it gets. And I thought, I don't want to have another wedding ring cut off because of my arthritis, so I thought I'd take it off now while I still can. And it's no point getting another one to fit, because it would have to be so wide to get past the knuckle that it would be flopping about on my actual finger. So I'm now ringless. But never mind, it's just one of those things you have to put up with sometimes. So yes, short and sweet hopefully this week, but I will try and have a faff about. What I'm going to try and do is to use my inks for blending some backgrounds and then stamping on top of that, either the thank you or this one, which is a retired one, which is The World Needs More Love Notes. And do you know, I've had this, oh, I don't know, a year, possibly more. I've never actually used it, and now it's retired. So I thought it's about time I actually used it, because I do like the sentiment. The world does need more love notes. So I thought I'll make some of those with these inks that I've got and my blending brushes. So that will probably be next on my list. I've got a little list here of videos that I want to do. I should be doing an order at the beginning of October for some Christmas bits, 2 of which are kits, so I'll be doing those as soon as I get them. That's about it, I think, other than to say we had a very nice time in Cardiff. We went on the big wheel, we went round the bay, we went to Penarth, and then we went to Bristol on the Tuesday, where we sat underneath Concorde's wings, eating a nice meal, listening to somebody waffling on about pensions. But I was just there for Concorde, and it's beautiful. And I definitely recommend, if you're in the area, go to Filton Airport Museum, where you can go on Concorde and see it in all its glory. My old friend Carol, her dad worked on Concorde on the electrics. But I did say, have you got a list of people's names of people who've worked on Concorde? And they said, oh no, we haven't. I said, oh, you should do. Anyway, that's me for this week. If you're wondering what I'm going to do with these, I'm just going to attach them, I think. I might use my corner rounder and round off the corners, but I'm just going to stick them onto either white or coordinating coloured card. Haven't decided yet. I'll put the photo of the finished items. Well, I might not have a chance actually. I'll show them to you at some point, but I'm not sure when, because it's Monday afternoon now and I need to get this video sorted for Wednesday. So I need to get on. Anyway, nice to be back again, and I'll see you again shortly. Hwyl am y tro.